Nurah Speaks is a weekly podcast that tugs at the soul and consciousness of the Black community. With show topics such as youth empowerment, education, women's impact, and civic engagement, Nurah Speaks challenges the listener to not only join the movement, but be the movement. On the show, you'll learn from insightful guests who have demonstrated capacity in these fields and more, and I'm your host, Nurah Muhammad. Welcome to the show. Welcome to another episode of the Nurah Speaks podcast, and I am your host, Nurah Muhammad. Thank you for joining me again in another episode, and welcome to episode 112. And I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful for this opportunity to share information with the listening audience. I'm grateful to be so privileged that you would be a part of my audience. We are definitely in some trying times, some unique times. And, I want to be able to share some information, some insight, and maybe some words of inspiration in this episode as we are dealing with a national emergency, a world emergency, a pandemic dealing with the COVID-19, also known as the novel coronavirus. This issue has certainly taken the world by storm, and it is overwhelming medical systems. It's overwhelming hospitals. It's overwhelming medical practices. And there's so much that we need to know. There's so much that we need to do in this time. And I want you to know that as you are dealing with the change in lifestyle or the change in routine because of this issue, as you're dealing with it, I too am dealing with it. And so I am with you. I am with you as we take this journey together. It's a unique experience. I remember being pregnant with my son on September 11th in 2001. And I remember being at work and there was a television on. And I remember seeing people standing around the television, and I go and I stand with them to see what it is they're looking at. And at that time, the first plane had hit the first tower. And as I'm standing there and I am watching the television, I'm watching the fire, this building on fire, I see another plane come in and hit the second tower. And I am completely dumbfounded, completely overwhelmed. I'm in complete shock as those who were standing with me. And I didn't know what to do. I was frightened. I was concerned. I was about 7 months pregnant. And all I knew to do was to get in my car. So I just walked out of work. I got in my car. I drove maybe a quarter of a mile, and I really didn't know where I was going. And I just knew I needed to call my husband. And so I called him on the phone, and we were talking about what was happening. And he told me just to go back to work. And I said, okay. And what I realized that I needed that connection. I needed that reassurance that you're okay, things are okay, the baby is okay, I'm okay. And I went back to work. And although that was a very alarming time, I was in South Jersey, so I wasn't in North Jersey. I wasn't in New York at the time. And so we, at work, we kind of kept abreast of what was happening. But I was able to get through my workday. And, those who lived through that time, the significant changes that occurred, and the alteration in our lifestyle. And, lives were changed. Laws, in fact, changed after that. Um, but that period of time, it came with a shocking alarm. And then the immediate threat was over. And after that, the nation went about investigation and cleaning up. And so here we have this unique experience of this virus, of this germ that is indiscriminate, that is impacting and affecting the old and the young. You can't see it coming, like we saw those planes coming. We can't see this germ coming. We don't know who has it unless they've been tested. And we know that tests are in very short supply. Our medical personnel don't have the protective equipment that they need and are entitled to so that they can go about their work in a healthy way, in a safe way. And so I wanted to come with this episode just as in 2001, when 9/11 happened. I just needed to make a phone call. I needed to have that connection with the person who was closest to me. And so I am recording this episode in hopes that as you're listening, then you feel connected. You're not in this alone. There are so many of us going through this with you across this country. And we want you to know that as we are dealing with these uncertain times, that it will pass. There will come a time where we won't have to be so hypervigilant. There will come a time where things will go back to whatever will be normal or a new normal. And so this time, this state of emergency that we're in, it will pass. And so, I know in the mental health field, sometimes when we are feeling overwhelmed, the therapist may say, take off your shoes or take off your socks and feel that you're on the earth. Feel where you are, see where you are, smell where you are, ground yourself. And so with this episode, I hope to help you to do some grounding. And so I'm going to share some ideas that I have to help us get through this time, to pass through this time, to deal with potential cabin fever, and in ways that we can protect ourselves. So the first thing I want to say is that, again, I am in this with you. I'm doing my best to stay safe, to stay busy, and to be productive. But I'm with you. I want you to think about days when you felt like you didn't have time. Days when there were things that you wanted to do, but you had to go to work, or you had to go to church, or you couldn't do it because you had to pick the children up after school, or take them to soccer practice, take them to Little League practice. Well, there's no more soccer practice. There's no Little League practice. So think about what it is that you wanted to do and you didn't have the time to do it. Do it now. So if that's starting a home project, you can do that now. If that's deep cleaning or reorganizing your home, you can do it now. I would encourage, those who like to cook and maybe don't have the time to cook. Well, there's plenty of time now to cook, to try new recipes, to bring our children into the kitchen, to have food battles, food wars. Especially if you have young children, they love to get in that kitchen with us. They love to to mix. They love to get their hands in things. So this is a good time to have, great family moments in the kitchen. You can take a day for each child or each parent to try out new recipes and decide at the end of the week whose meals were the best. You can stay active during this time. Move your body, get exercising. I know it's easy to kind of Netflix and chill and just relax, because maybe with the hustle and bustle of life, you don't have the opportunity to just sit and to just think or to just veg out. And so definitely, veg out a little bit, but also make sure you move your body. There are so many, applications that you can find on your phone that are fitness apps. There are YouTube videos. I know Planet Fitness, for example, I believe they're streaming on Facebook some exercise routines. So there's different ways that you can go about exercising, moving your body, create your own routine, but make sure you move your body. Move your body 30 to 40 minutes a day, and it'll be good for you mentally, and it'll be good for you physically. Read a new book. Read a book that you've read before that you've enjoyed. I know my favorite author is Octavia Butler, and there are books that she's written that every time I read, I see more and I get more, and I just get to marvel at the magnificence of the mind of this great writer. So read a new book, go back and read an old book, but spend some time reading. I would also encourage you to take a look at some documentaries. I was watching one today. I can't think of the name of it, but it's a documentary. It talks about the criminal activity of Wells Fargo. I watched one called, I believe it was called Slumlord Millionaire, talking about Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, and what he has done in New York and Maryland with tenants. And it's really interesting, and just kind of keeping up to date with what's happening in the world, not just in this country, not just right now with this COVID-19, this disease and the deaths and all of that, but just broaden your perspective. There are documentaries on everything. There's documentaries on prison. There's documentaries on food. So if you're not into reading, then you can watch a documentary. If you're not into documentaries, you can always listen to podcasts. And that's how I kind of fell in love with podcasts myself, is listening to interviews of people who have done extraordinary things in their lives, made some extraordinary strides, overcome major obstacles. And just listening to their journey has been so informing and rewarding. So, listen to podcasts. Try new podcasts, and it's great if you're cleaning. You can listen to the show in the background, and while you're getting chores done, while you're reorganizing your house. So get busy, get moving, check out documentaries, read a book, listen to a podcast, and make sure you are doing things that is going to maintain your spirit, maintain the wellness of your mind. There is a thing called cabin fever, where we feel like we're just stuck in the house and we want to get out and we're going stir crazy. So it's important that we do things that's going to maintain our mental health in this very, very unusual time that we find ourselves in. And so I would encourage you to rise early. And I know you might just be happy to be able to sleep in, and maybe that works for you. But for some of us, getting up and getting our day started early is works with our body cycle. So get up, get yourself up early, get dressed. Just because you may not leave the house doesn't mean that you don't get dressed. You might not be going into the office. You might not be an essential worker, or maybe you're working from home like so many are. Still get dressed. You don't have to necessarily put on your business suit. Maybe if that works for you, then put on your business suit and work at your kitchen table, your dining room table, or in your home office and get that work done. But get dressed. And I'll say this, get dressed and do your hair. Ladies, do your hair because you want to feel good. And if we look good, then that really helps us feel good. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you feel like, okay, I look good. I like how my hair is done. I like how my skin is glowing. That impacts what we see and what we do with ourselves. That impacts how we feel about ourselves. So I would encourage you to get dressed for the day, do your hair for the day, as if you were leaving the house. Also, as I said, make sure you are taking walks. Make sure you are getting some fresh air. Make sure you are letting the sun touch your skin. That is so important. Vitamin D is so necessary, and many of us, get vitamin D from the sun. The sun has such a powerful healing effect on us. So make sure, even if that's just you sitting outside on your deck, sitting outside on your step or your stoop, or go outside and make sure the sun is hitting you. Make sure that you are breathing in fresh air. Even if it's cool outside, let the coolness touch your skin so you're not just sitting in the house being idle all day, because idleness can lead to boredom. Idleness can lead to depression. And so as you're getting up early, you're opening your curtains, you're opening your blinds, you're letting the day inside your house. You have a house that is alive with activity because you're bustling about cleaning, or you're cooking, you're listening to music, you're watching a documentary, you're listening to podcasts. So make sure that as we are kind of having a timeout from outside activities and entertainment, that we don't have a timeout from the enjoyment of life and from living life. Just because we have to stay in our house doesn't mean that we can't still be active inside the homes. So enjoy time with your family. You know, I see you on social media, and you know it's amusing. People talking about sitting at home with their children, having to teach their children. Yeah, it's funny, but I'm kind of over that now, because I think about how we have a society, and I'm not saying this about anybody in particular, and I hope that you don't feel defensive or self-conscious in any way, but we have such a hustle and bustle lifestyle in this country where we live. There's so many demands on us that we kind of put our children as a secondary factor in our lives. And anytime I would need to do anything with my children that, you know, would make me pause from whether it was work or activities, you know, my son might say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mom." And I'll say, no. I'm working so hard for you. You know, we are working for you so that you can have what you need. So if we have to stop this activity, or if I can't attend this event because I have to see to you, well, you're what it's all about. So let's be reminded that we work so hard for the family that we have, for the children that we have. Our children are not in the way. Everything else is in the way of us having a bond and a connection with our children. So appreciate your children. Appreciate the time at home with your family. And I will also say, think about having a routine for young children. If you have young children, think about having a routine for them. It could be very, very beneficial so that they know what's going to come next. And it doesn't have to be a very rigid every half hour, every hour routine, but make sure they're getting up in the morning, they're brushing their teeth, they're combing their hair, they're getting dressed as well. They're doing their schoolwork or whatever activities you have for them to occupy them during the day, the time that they spend with you, the time that they help to cook dinner or choose a recipe, the time that they're playing out back, getting fresh air, taking a walk with you. Ultimately, ultimately, you know, getting ready for bed, taking a bath, having bedtime stories, and going to bed. Make sure that our children have a routine, because it could help them too, so that they know, especially our young children, so that they know, what's to come next in their day. So think about the activities that you can do during the day. Think about how you can just appreciate the time. There may never be a time where the government is telling us, stay home. There may never, ever be another time where our employers are telling us, don't come in. So take advantage of it. Take advantage and, look at the silver lining, look at the bright side in this crazy time that we're experiencing right now. And see where you can get some enjoyment out of it. And so I also encourage you to stay in touch with people, stay in touch with your loved ones that you don't live with. Make sure that you're making phone calls to those important people, getting in touch with people via social media. And you can even use technology to have group meetings, group conversations, looking in each other's faces. So definitely use technology to stay connected. They're talking about social distancing. I think the language should be physically distancing, or, increasing our proximity, but we want to stay connected socially to those people that we should be connected with, our parents, our children, if they live remotely from us, our colleagues that we're close with, our cousins, our siblings. Stay connected with those people, and especially check on those elder people in your family, in your community, in your temple, in your mosque, in your church. Make sure you're checking on them too, to see what they might need in areas where they might need assistance, where they might feel as if they're a burden if they don't have anyone else to check in on them. So make sure we're checking in on them as well. And so I want to also just share some ideas if we have to leave our homes, whether some of us may have to leave for work. We might be those essential employees that have to report somewhere, or maybe we have to leave the home for an essential trip. Maybe it's for groceries. Maybe you have to go to the hardware store for something important that you need in your home. Maybe you do have to attend a medical visit to your doctor. But if you need to leave your home, make sure you're being smart. Make sure you're following official instructions. So, for example, if there is a mandatory curfew from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. and you're going to be out past 8 p.m., do try to obtain some kind of official certification or letter from your employer indicating that it is essential for you to be out of your home, to be driving on the highway, so that you don't incur any unnecessary fines. So make sure that we're following the official instructions that are coming from those official channels. So you can go to your state's website. I'm sure your governor, your county commissioner, they're issuing instructions on what to do and how to do. If you're out, please protect yourself. If you have any protective equipment, such as gloves, if you have to touch a shopping cart, if you have to touch a shopping basket or a door handle, do try to have a barrier between you and others. If you have masks, wear them when you're going out to protect yourself. Make sure you're keeping a distance of 6 feet. Right now they're saying 6 feet, so I'll say that. Make sure you're doing your best to keep a distance of 6 feet from you and other people. Do your best not to touch your eyes, your nose, put your hands in your mouth, because, obviously those are areas that are very easy to spread contagion through those mucous membranes. So, keep our hands out of our faces, off of our faces, away from our eyes, our nose, and our mouths. And wash our hands often, at least 20 seconds. So whatever song it is that you like to sing when you wash your hands, for me, it's the thong song. So when I'm washing my hands, I'm singing the thong song. Sometimes I'm washing my hands and dancing and singing the thong song. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. At least dry with a paper towel if you have it. And if you cannot wash your hands, please use sanitizer every time that you need to. Also, I'll say, if you are shopping, you're bringing things into the house, sanitize what it is that you bring. So, for example, if you're buying a gallon of milk with bleach, soapy water, um, just wipe it down with a rag. Just wipe things down that you're bringing into your house, that you're putting in your cupboards, so that if there is anything there, then you've gotten rid of it because you've done it through sanitizing the products that you're bringing in your house. Now, as I'm winding down, I want to share some information for people who have financial considerations. So those who have a gap in work or who may have a gap in pay, I would encourage you to contact your creditors, contact your mortgage company, contact your landlord, and talk about what's happening with you. Obviously, they wouldn't be surprised at your phone call, but do the responsible thing and contact them yourself. Be very proactive, whether it's your credit card company, your auto loan company. Contact these companies so that you can work out a way to remain in good standing, even if you don't have the funds to make a current payment. Maybe they can do some kind of deference or forbearance, so that you are not having any negative reports to your credit report. And that also goes with student loans. If you have a federal student loan, according to what the president said in a press conference, they are deferring payments for 60 days, as well as deferring interest for 60 days. But you and I must contact these creditors. They're not just going to, maybe some are, I have read where some banks have contacted their customers. But for the most part, I would advise you to be proactive and contact your creditors to see what you can work out so that you can remain in good standing, so that we don't come out of this with our credit hit. Utility companies, contact them and see, what kind of plans or programs that you can take advantage of so that you remain in good standing. And then, 60 days from now, hopefully we're not still dealing with this crisis at this level. When things are kind of getting back to what will be normal, then you can just pick up where you left off. And as I close out, I just want to share just some general ideas. The first I want to share is eat to live. Eat to live. And I say that because, we're home. Our foods, from what I'm seeing from the supermarkets and in social media, people are just buying out the stores. And there are a lot of fruits and vegetables still in the grocery stores. So I expect that people are buying a lot of processed food, some heat and eats. So I would encourage you to eat to live. Get a regular schedule with your eating. Don't just eat out of boredom. Eat when you are hungry, and encourage our children to do the same. Also, I would encourage you to have a full tank of gas in your car. Who knows what may happen next? We might have to take a 100-mile drive. Anything could happen. Make sure you have a full tank of gas. And just as a general, even outside of this national emergency, outside of this pandemic, you always want to have enough gas in your car to carry you if you were to have some sudden emergency. Along with that, have some emergency cash. Now, I'm not encouraging you to cash out your 401k. Do not do that. That is not advice I'm giving you. I'm just saying have some emergency cash on hand in case you need to make a purchase that you can't use your plastic. You can't use your credit card or your debit card for it. Have some emergency cash. Also, stay up to date. Stay up to date with what is happening from the reputable sources. So be careful getting information from Cousin Eddie. Be careful getting your information from social media, unless it is the reputable source streaming on social media. So I'm in New Jersey. The governor has information up to date on his page. The governor has press conferences. Our county freeholders, other states have commissioners, but our county representatives and legislators, they also share information. My mayor is sharing information. So get your information from reputable sources, and because there's a lot of misinformation that's being spread. Yeah, my boy told me, or yeah, my girl told me. Well, where did she get her information from? Does she work for the Department of Defense? Does she work for the Department of Justice? So I would encourage you. And the reason why I say that is because we can be receiving and passing along information that is inaccurate, but information that could cause us or others anxiety. So that's why we want to get accurate information so that we don't have to go back, chase the misinformation down to correct it. Get it from the reputable sources, share it. Remember in school when we had to cite our source? Let others know where you're getting it from so they can vet the information that you're giving to them. And then my last piece of advice, once you get your information, turn it off. Just turn it off and go back to living your life. Go back to enjoying your family. Go back to enjoying your good book. Go back to enjoying your Netflix movie, your documentary, your podcast, your kitchen, your sauna, if you have it. Go back to enjoying your life. Go back to taking your walk. Go back to soaking up the sun. If you have sun, right now it's cloudy where I am, but go back to enjoying your life. Always being tuned in is not good for us. That can wear on us emotionally. It can increase our anxiety. And so I would just encourage you to pay attention to yourself. Think about or notice how you feel before you put on the news, and notice the change that happens once you put on the news, once you read the news article. Pay attention to that, and bear in mind that the media is helping to increase our anxiety, whether it's intentional or not. I don't know. I won't say that. But the media helps to increase our anxiety. So I was watching, I'm not going to say the news program show, the news magazine show, but their colors were all red and black, right? And I think about, my sons watch Spider-Man, and I think about, well, the evil Spider-Man is black with red. Black and red, that represents poison, that represents danger. And so, sure, this disease or this virus is very, very dangerous. But we can receive the message that it's dangerous without all of the imagery, without all of the Hollywood production that goes into sharing the information. We don't need all of that. I just need the information. You can give me a bright blue background. You can give me a yellow background. Why does it have to be black with red pictures, red images, red pictures of red germs? You can just give me a nice bright background and share the information. But when they use those tools of the graphics and the sounds and the sound effects, that helps to increase our anxiety. So, the production is high on these shows. So pay attention, and pay attention to how it affects you, and pay attention to how you feel once you turned it off. Pay attention to how you feel when you're sitting and talking with your children, when you're sitting and talking with your spouse. Pay attention to how you feel after you've exercised, after you've cooked a good meal, after you've taken that walk. Pay attention to how you're feeling. And if you need help with how you're feeling, check in with somebody that loves you. Check in with somebody that cares about you and tell them how you're feeling. Because sometimes just telling someone else that you're anxious, that connection, that anchoring can really help alleviate some of that anxiety. So I didn't want to give you too much, but I just wanted to share what I thought was necessary, because I want to let you know I'm in this with you. We are in this state of emergency together, and we will get through it together. Be smart, follow your precautions, listen to what your the officials are telling you, and stay safe out there. Stay safe, stay healthy. I want to thank you so much. If you want to let me know how you're faring during this time, you can email me at Nurah Speaks. Again, that's Nurah Speaks. I'd be interested in addition to what I shared, what can you share with others to help them get through this time, to pass the time, to manage anxiety? So share your thoughts, share your comments as well. Thank you again so much for listening. Thank you for always coming back. Thank you for sharing the podcast. Thank you for being a subscriber. I do appreciate you. Until next time, stay in peace. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Nurah Speaks podcast. Be on the lookout for a new episode coming at you fresh next week. And as always, if you want to learn more about me and the work that I do, visit my website, NurahMuhammad.com. Or if you have a listener question, email me at info@NurahSpeaks.com. You can also follow the Nurah Speaks podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nurah Speaks Podcast. I'll be sure to include links in the show notes. If this show has value to you, please subscribe, rate, and review, and share it with family and friends. And be sure to check out previous episodes. And remember, don't just join the movement, be the movement. Stay in peace.